Our next game, a bit of a thriller here and an ugly game at times. The Bengals at Kansas City. But the news we have to start at the top before we even get into the stat line of this game, Matthew. Isiah Pacheco sounds like a broken fibula. He's going on IR. Obviously somebody who massive fantasy expectations going into the season, and now a backfield that doesn't seem like there's a clear answer after Pacheco.
Yeah, I mean, again, we'll see how the news sort of shakes out here. First off, just brutal blow. I have a ton of Isiah Pacheco. You know, I'm a huge fan. He was somebody that we talked up a lot in the preseason. I was much higher on him than consensus ranks. So just feel terrible for the kid, and hopefully it's only 4 weeks. It might be longer, right? But we know it's going to be at least 4 weeks. As we sit here today, I don't think we know. What I would say is that if I had to pick somebody right now, I think it's Samaje Perine, right? In terms of, he's the most complete running back that they have there as well. You know, the early data in terms of what they've done, like through 2 games, like, you know, Perine's played 12% of the snaps. Carson Steele has played 17. But Perine has run 21% of the routes, 10% for Carson Steele. It's all sort of like meaningless because, again, they have Pacheco, so it's just about filling in. Perine just got there. But to me, Samaje Perine is the most complete back. He's the better pass blocker. He's more experienced for a team that wants to obviously be pass heavy. He can catch the ball on third down. Carson Steele, I feel like, had a bad fumble.
He did.
In this game against the Bengals as well. He's the undrafted rookie. I also wonder, by the way, if they're not done. Again, Clyde Edwards-Helaire currently on the IR himself. So do they go out and ask Jerick McKinnon to come back, who's currently a free agent? Obviously, there's familiarity there. Kareem Hunt's out there, right? And there's, from back in the day. Latavius Murray, Dalvin Cook's on the Cowboys practice squad. They could probably sign him if they wanted to. Melvin Gordon's out there. I think what they will do is I think it will be a little bit of a running back by committee. I think you'll see Carson Steele. And we saw it this last game as well when they get in close. Like they did a tackle-eligible play. They do such weird stuff at the goal line.
The Wanya Morris touchdown.
Right, exactly. I think that what the Chiefs will do, that they're not going to be able to replace Pacheco one for one. There's not going to be some one player that walks into that massive role that Pacheco had. They will piece it together. It'll be a little bit by running back by committee. But my expectation as we sit here today, and we'll get into more of this tomorrow on the Waiver Wire show, Samaje Perine would be my target because I think he'll play the most snaps and he's going to have the most ways to earn fantasy points in that offense because he will play on third down and he'll probably split some of the early down work with Carson Steele.
Jay, in the actual game, not a good day for Mahomes despite the win. I mean, I believe this was the fewest passing yards he's had in a full game in his career. He finished at 151. Throws the 2 touchdowns, but he also threw 2 picks, another one called back. Just never really looked comfortable like we're used to seeing him.
This might be the worst I've seen Patrick Mahomes play. Statistically, it was bizarre. He was negative 0.2 EPA per play, which basically means that every time Patrick Mahomes was dropping back to pass, you were losing a fifth of a point, which is insane, after being so efficient against the Ravens. His average depth of target was 4 yards. Like, there was just nothing there against, by the way, a Bengals defense that has not covered itself in glory over the past year or so. So that's a terrible interception from Mahomes.
The 3
first
defenders
one.
around him.
I mean, the Cam Taylor-Britt one, what are you going to do? Odell Beckham. But still, he's throwing that into a tight window. So there are some questions. I think as well, the fact that the Ravens didn't look great against the Raiders also makes you put that Week 1 performance into a bit more context.
Yeah.
And the fact now that, when Hollywood Brown was, basically ruled out for the year, everyone's like, oh, well, they've still got Xavier Worthy, Rashee Rice, Travis Kelce. Well, that didn't look great last year. So that injury now takes on greater importance too, combined with Pacheco going down. So, look, it's still Patrick Mahomes. They're 2-0. They've beaten the Ravens and the Bengals. You can't complain too much. But I think there's some concerns about Mahomes' statistical ceiling now.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Although I just don't know what to, I just don't know what you do, right? I mean, like, yeah, I'm not dropping Mahomes for Derek Carr or whatever, right. But maybe what you could say here is Patrick Mahomes still a must-start, no-brainer? I don't look at the matchup. I don't think about it at all. And maybe I'm not ready to bail just yet, right? Especially given, like, they're playing on the road at Atlanta, who, that'll be a short week for the Falcons because they play tonight. So I want to see how he does in Week 3 in a dome against the Falcons. But something to keep in mind. One last thing here. Tough game for Travis Kelce. 1 reception for 5 yards. But I want to give a shout-out to my guy, Ian Harditz, at FantasyLife.com. He does his Sheesh report every single week. And here's the thing. He was tackled inside the 1 yard line just before that tackle eligible touchdown, so he easily could have had one, right, by the way. And he had a 41-yard catch and run called back based on a hold. It's worth noting he played 89% of the snaps in this game. He leads the team in both routes and red zone targets. So I get it. The production hasn't been there, but he's Travis freaking Kelce. I'm not panicking just yet. The whole passing offense was down in this game. I actually think Kelce's a buy. While I don't think Kelce is what he was, I think he's a buy low. He is better than what we've seen through 2 games.
Yep, I agree. Xavier Worthy did not do a great deal. I think that he's just going to be boom or bust every week, and if you need upside, then you can perhaps start him, but wouldn't feel great about it. On the Bengals side.
But Rashee Rice locked in as a top 10 fantasy wide receiver, especially with Pacheco now down. Like it's going to be even more pass heavy, and Rashee Rice scores another touchdown. Just monster year coming.
Yep. On the Bengals side, I thought Joe Burrow looked better, Connor.
Yes.
Physically, he looked much better.
Yeah, he just looked more comfortable week 1. Like you said, physically better. Not a big Jamar Chase day. He catches 4 passes for 35 yards. But if you look at their upcoming schedule, there's reason to buy into Burrow, Chase, the entire Bengals offense. It's the Commanders. It's the Panthers.
It's the Commanders.
And then it's the Panthers.
Jamar Chase, 200 yards, 3 touchdowns coming in. Andre Yoshevich, get him in there. Mike Gesicki is suddenly a thing.
Mike Gesicki is very much a thing in this offense.
We'll talk about Gesicki tomorrow on the Waiver Wire Show, but very nice game for Mike Gesicki in this one as well. Hopefully T. Higgins gets back. Yoshevich has catches 2 touchdowns, but I'm telling you right now, Jamar Chase on Monday Night Football next week is going nuclear against my Commanders.
Yeah, and then it's the Panthers, the Ravens who are shaky, and then the Giants. Like, this is a really good stretch for the Bengals. Do not panic on the Bengals.
Buy low on Jamar Chase. Buy low on the Bengals. Who day? Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotorWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto-World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.